Welcome everyone to this session. I'm pleased to welcome our panel here, representatives who will share their insights into how and why chambers of commerce, destination marketing organizations, industry associations, and other stakeholders are integral to supporting and growing the Summer Work Travel program in their communities. My name is Clay Lewis. I'm with InterExchange, one of the J1 visa sponsors. You've all heard from me earlier today. We're also very grateful to Brenda Bethune, the mayor of Myrtle Beach, a very popular summer work travel destination and host community, for joining us today and for opening the discussion with a few remarks. Mayor?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with all of you. I cannot stress enough the importance of the SWT program, formerly the J1 program, to our community, and I'm sure to others as well. Myrtle Beach gets 18 to 22 million visitors a year. The Grand Strand area does. You can only imagine the number of hotel rooms that we have, restaurants, retail businesses, entertainment, amusements, and we simply do not have the workforce to handle that growing need. So this program is so important to our business community. And I think it is equally as important to the students who come here. It shows our visitors that we are a diverse community, but it gives these students a very unique learning experience. They get to learn our culture, our history, and they represent us to the rest of the world when they leave here. So I'm happy to join you today. I can hardly wait to hear what people share today, and just want to, again, stress the importance that this program has to our business community.
Thank you, Mayor. And now I'd like to welcome our panel. We have Diana Burke, who serves as the Executive Director of the Virginia Beach Hotel Association. As part of her role, Diana has worked tirelessly to ensure that Virginia Beach remains a top destination for summer work travel participants and visitors alike. Virginia Beach draws over 1,000 participants annually who have enjoyed their summers living and working alongside all of the local residents. We also have Phil Burnt, who is the Membership Director for Destination Door County, and has been actively involved in supporting the summer work travel program in his region for almost 10 years. Door County is a popular vacation destination in the Midwest, consisting of several towns on a peninsula between Green Bay and Lake Michigan. Summer work travel program participant numbers in Door County have been rising steadily for more than 10 years and now sit at over 500 students per year, which is a testament to the hard work that Phil has put in. We also have Stephen Green, who serves as the president and CEO of the Myrtle Beach Area Hospitality Association. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, also known as the Grand Strand, as the mayor just said, has long been not only a top tourist destination, but also a favorite of summer work travel participants, over 3,000 of whom choose to call it home every summer. Stephen helps coordinate the International Student Outreach Program in Myrtle Beach, which has been key to the success of the summer work travel program in the region. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have Vicki Clark, who is the president of the Cape May County Chamber of Commerce. Cape May County includes several towns in the southernmost tip of the New Jersey shore, including Wildwood, Avalon, Sea Isle City, and of course, Cape May. And it is also another very popular summer work travel destination, drawing over 1,400 students per year who live in that community. Vicki's expertise advocating on behalf of the summer work travel program has been instrumental in gaining local and national congressional support over the years. So welcome, everyone. Thank you all for being here. And I'd like to kick this panel discussion off with a question to Stephen. I mentioned briefly the International Student Outreach Program in Myrtle Beach and its impact on the summer work travel program there. And I'm hoping that you might be able to speak to how and why the Myrtle Beach Hospitality Association decided to get involved and take on a leadership role within the ISOP there.
Absolutely. Has been discussed. The summer work travel program, as the mayor said, is so important to our business community. And we have been working with these students and these participants for many years. But we came to realize that we had individuals that were kind of handling one aspect of this program, another hand on this, diligent work by the municipalities and their hardworking staff. So by working with the Hospitality Association, we wanted to make sure we created a group that enhanced our communications, that provided a better experience for these students and these participants when they come into town. So it allowed us to be able to get all the different groups together, communicate on all the issues that we're facing with the program, what the issues that some of the participants are having, be able to create these orientation programs where the students can come in and obviously be able to meet with everything from Social Security to banking, to learn about some of our laws, bike lanes, all the different things to kind of get them up to speed on the community, while also trying to make sure that we have our businesses make these participants come here and get all the information they needed. So it's very important for us to make sure we promote and improve our business industry and through this program.
Thanks, Stephen. And Phil, I know your destination marketing organization, Destination Door County, which used to be a VCB and before that a chamber, has also decided to take on a leading role, bringing together stakeholders in the community to educate the community and come up with solutions to some of the challenges. I think Stephen just hit on a few of the challenges that Myrtle Beach had and their role. And I'm hoping you can elaborate on kind of how you got involved and some of the initiatives you spearheaded up there.
Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, for those who are watching, it hadn't really struck me in the beginning. I have worked with the international students that were here in the county, and I'm very familiar with them from being in our community. But it really wasn't until Dave and Joyce Dietert had approached me. They operate our community support group, the Bridges program, and they came in to find out if there was a way that I could help them connect with employers who might be employing the J1 students so that they could get them better engaged in the programming they were doing. Well, that was an instant light bulb turn on. We're a perfect match for that collaboration. We have the connection into the business community, and the business community is looking for the support element. So as I've shared with a lot of my colleagues in the tourism industry, get involved. A lot of what we do, a lot of what the program needs are things that we already do, whether that's promoting the destination and trying to make people aware of some of its best highlights or interesting components of it, educational parts, but also being able to pair up students with employers. And then through the getting involved with the Dieterts, immediately put me in touch with many sponsors like yourself, Clay, and Haldus and others who were really integral in inviting me in to learn more about how the sponsors operate and how all that pieces together. So it really fit together like a nice cog in what we're doing. And as a community, we've had the opportunity. It always amazes me that they look to us like we're the heroes in doing these things, but it's quite the opposite. We're so thrilled to be the facilitators to help the heroes who are doing the work do it better. So by doing educational programs and help us raise the bar, we've been doing community to come together and share best practices, address challenges. And through that, we've had some really great discoveries and solutions come forward, some that I'll elaborate a little bit later.
Thank you, Phil. Diana, I was hoping you might be able to comment on this too. I think education and communication seem to be kind of a common thread. I know you've worked a lot in Virginia Beach on educating the community, educating, host employers, and kind of being that conduit for communication. Just hoping you could comment on a little bit of that.
Sure. I will just utter what everyone else has said. And you have, by the way, I'm so thankful that number one, I got my video to work. So now you see me, but you also see my son's room. So I apologize for that. But truly getting the groups together that we have from our wonderful city council members who, they have to be a jack of all trades. And I so appreciate the mayor being here today. You have to know about educated on so many different issues. And I feel like educating our city council was vital. We had a housing problem like everyone else does. So we went, after some internal conversations with stakeholders, we went to our city council, had some good conversation with our planning folks about changing some zoning ordinances to allow for 8 unrelated individuals to be able to reside together on a temporary basis, because our current zoning prohibited that. So we all know how difficult it is to find housing no matter where you are. We had to get rid of that challenge. So having that conversation with our city council and our stakeholders to move that barrier out of the way was crucial. And it took 2 attempts, and I have to thank Jamie from Intrax and Clay and others and many of our HR professionals who helped with that educational conversation. But after 2 attempts of going to our city council, they really want us to succeed, but they didn't understand what the barriers were. So it really crucial to have those kind of conversations. And we so appreciate being able to be that conduit to organize the groups together and continue that conversation on a regular basis.
Thank you. And how does that affect your membership? Because you are a membership organization.
Sure.
So, and I know that's crucial to your membership. If you want to expand on that too.
Sure. We represent 73 hotels and about 170 associate members. And in those associate members, we have many attractions who also utilize the summer work travel program. And I can only say I'm a prior HR gal from years ago. Those HR friends that are in all of our properties have major challenges. And without the summer work travel program, they really wouldn't sleep at night. So they definitely see us as a true value add to be the tip of the spear with those conversations on workforce. And we probably will not compare to Myrtle Beach, but we have 2,000 openings just in the hotels that we must fill by May of 2021. So we are all looking at each other. I go to the dentist and I hand out my business card and say, do you have a brother, mother, sister, uncle? It's kind of a joke, but I'm sure we're all walking billboards everywhere we go to try and help this wonderful industry continue to have great employees. And so we so appreciate the summer work travel program.
Thank you, Diana. And Vicki, I know the Cape May County Chamber of Commerce as well has been heavily engaged in educating municipalities, legislators, and engaging with the local press, as well as advocating for the summer travel program. And can you speak to why this is important for the chamber, some of your work that's been done and how it's impacted your membership and community?
Well, as been said before, the program is just critical to the survival of our industry because our area is a peninsula that simply does not have enough local residents to support the workforce that's needed for our seasonal tourism economy. And that tourism economy is what fuels our year-round livelihood. So we need students that are coming here, not just in the summer season, but that are also here bridging our spring season and our fall season. And so it's critically important that we are educating not just the local community, but also all of the officials from the local level to the national level on the importance of this program. And when there have been threats to the program, you many times have new elected officials who, for the first time, they're just learning about this program. They don't really know and understand why it's so important. And many times there are uninformed people who think that the students are taking jobs away from local people looking for jobs. And most of the time, it is just the opposite. The students are actually creating jobs on the local level because locally, employers have to have people in place that are doing the recruiting, managing the HR, that is all in place to facilitate the program itself. And then we have the actual economic impact that the students make themselves because of the housing that they need, because of just living their lives. They're eating all their meals. They do a lot of shopping while they're here. And so it's very, very critical that the story is told about the need for the students and the benefit that they bring to the community. And we find that communication, that education is critically important to the benefit of the program.
Thank you, Vicki. And Phil, I know I've spoken with you in the past about this as well. Regarding kind of how the Some Work Travel students supplement the American workforce in your community and some of that need. And I'm hoping you can expand on that as well.
Yeah, to explain Door County, we are on the western coast of Lake Michigan. We often use our hand, not the mitten, in case there are any Michiganders on. But we are a peninsula, so you can't just reach out a little further to find more employees. Where the peninsula itself is, it's about 75 miles long. So even there, it's a long way in, long way out. So this has been difficult. So as far as the students in our community, they've been vital in boosting the available talent that's here during our peak season, without threatening jobs of Americans in the shoulders, well, at any time, actually. But the example that I'd shared with you is that in recent years, in the middle of the season, at very peak, when all of our visitors are here, we've had a number of restaurants having to close because they were short an individual or two in order to meet their minimum requirement of making their whole operation work. So here we are in peak with all these guests and they're closed. So all of the Americans that work there are also laid off on those nights too. And these have been really popular spots. We were just flabbergasted, but they said they just simply couldn't find American students. We're having a greater and greater challenge because, first of all, there are fewer and fewer Americans following the baby boom. So we're having a much larger segment that's retiring compared to those that are entering the workforce. But also we're finding that our college-age student, who is ideal for those temporary seasonal jobs, they're often very they're engaged with college prep, with various study programs, and also with extracurricular sports. And so many of those programs run through the summer. So we're no longer seeing those high school, college age Americans that are here. And of course, your average adult is, even myself included, seasonal work is very tiring, that feast and famine of working hard, whereas an exchange student, it's exciting and you're in a new area, and work culture is our social culture. So they look forward to working because that's where their friends are. That's the center of activity and engagement. So it's very enjoyable. It's a nice mix of social and work.
Thank you, Phil. And Diana kind of hit on this as well. I want to kind of circle back to supporting the students that are in the area. I think we all understand how vital the program is for both public diplomacy, cultural exchange, filling that gap, that seasonal workforce gap in each community. Stephen, I know Myrtle Beach has done quite a bit in the past few years regarding bicycle safety and some initiatives creating bike safety paths and greenways. Can you share what the Myrtle Beach Hospitality Association, how they played a role, I guess, in advocating on behalf of the students, and how Myrtle Beach was able to kind of tackle this issue and make sure that there was safe bike options for both students and visitors and residents alike?
Absolutely. Obviously, with the mayor being online, we can recognize that we have a great deal of support from the municipalities and our local leaders. And they were very great about forming actually a bike committee. That's a city committee that we actually helped participate with. And we got to talk a lot about the issues with these students and their safety and what these bike lanes meant. A lot of our infrastructure is from the 1970s, and the mayor knows this, and our sidewalks are a certain size, or our back paths. So not only did they take the initiative to create those bike lanes, get some grants for the greenways to open that up, but it's also not only in the current planning, but any future redevelopment planning for downtown Myrtle Beach and others, you'll continue to see greater access for these bike paths to ensure not only the safety of our guests, but the safety of these students, participants, and our community as a whole. So again, when I stress, and I think I say this over and over again, the importance of having, as a community, that's communication and having all the partners sit down at the table. It's remarkable how many issues that you can get done together to help support this program. So it was a great opportunity.
Thank you, Stephen. And I do want to address one question we got typed in just now that's kind of pertinent to this regarding housing. Housing is a massive challenge in so many of these locations, yet housing remains piecemeal in many places. To what extent can organizations like yours help to lead conversations on getting local places and businesses to build or operate decent, affordable housing? There's many different approaches, and I know each community is addressing it in different ways, and I will open this up to anybody who might want to comment on this.
I'll start, Clay, if you want. Again, working with the city of Myrtle Beach, they know, and all of us face this. We're basically a 60-mile long island ourselves. So workforce housing or affordable housing is challenging across the board, not only for just these participants or students, but for our general workforce. So a good example is the city of Myrtle Beach has created a ability to put a fee on developers that would go directly towards workforce housing opportunities in the future. And then obviously consideration in that affordable housing are also for these seasonal workforce or also for these J1 students and participants. They've also enacted a lot of different things where when they're starting to look at redevelopment areas of downtown Myrtle Beach, that they're going to, if you have a say a museum that's looking to come in, the first floor would be the museum. And they're obviously going to work with the developer, encourage the developer to have maybe 1 or 2 floors above that be affordable workforce housing. Not only does that help us to try to fix these housing issues, but it also allows us to put more and more people living in the downtown area, which continues to create and strengthen the redevelopment of certain areas of our town. So I think there's ways you can be creative, but I think all of us are going to continue to struggle with workforce housing. And it's something we have to put some dollars to be able to address. And that's what the city of Myrtle Beach has done.
And I think that's key, getting those dollars in place to be able to address it. Diana, I know this 2020 kind of threw Virginia Beach for a loop, as did the whole world. But I know you guys have had some creative solutions there as well, if you want to comment on that.
Sure. And I wrote some notes. So thank you, Stephen, because I loved what you said about the developers, and I appreciate the sharing opportunity. We're fortunate in Virginia Beach that we have a designated revenue fund. We call it affectionately our TIP, which is our Tourism Improvement Program funding. And of course, it's different percentages of restaurant, hotel tax. I'm sure lots of folks have them, but right before COVID hit, as Clay knows, we had a wonderful meeting in our community at the Virginia Beach Community Chapel, which, by the way, happens to be a wonderful resource for the summer work travel program. They offer weekly meals and things. So they hosted a meeting in which we had many of our employers come, and we spoke about using some TIP funds, kind of earmarking them in the future to possibly build dormitories. And of course, that was kind of our a little bit longer range goal. Then COVID hit, and we've all sat back and said, well, we had to use those TIP funds right now for some other needs. But we do hope to circle back to that, because as everyone struggles with housing, we've just got to be creative. And so that was something that we hope to bring back up very soon.
And I think one thing, I'm glad you brought up that meeting. I'm wondering if you can expand on how that meeting came about. I know, your organization has done, the Virginia Beach Hotel Association has done a lot of work to bring stakeholders together and bring the necessary stakeholders together to have these conversations. And I think that's, as we're looking at housing, it's getting the right people in the room, getting everybody together to have these important conversations. you want to expand on, how that went and maybe who was involved in some of those meetings?
Sure. We had all of our board members, of course, and we invite all of our 73 hoteliers to attend, in addition to some chamber members, and we just outreach to our restaurant association. And as I'm sure you all feel, being part of an association, that's one of the gifts, is we're really good with communication. And so we made sure that they understood that Dan Bullock was flying in. Thank you so much, Dan, for doing that for us. And they were eager because they are challenged with this workforce component. So it was not a hard ask to ask them to show up that day to have this wonderful conversation. We even, I think, had one or two city council people in the background just, listening in. So definitely being the coordinator of that, it's something we enjoy, and we're happy to do it because we've got to find a solution to this. I think every destination is faced with affordable housing for these students, and this program is so vital.
Absolutely. And for anybody on the call as well, Dan Bullock, whom Diana just referenced, is actually giving a presentation tomorrow morning at 11:30 Eastern Standard on housing preparations. So if there are any host employers or housing providers on the call, I highly recommend tuning into that session. I'd like to transition a little bit into some advocacy, because I think that's another channel and another way that a lot of your organizations have become active in supporting the summer work travel program. And Vicki, I know the Cape May County Chamber has done a lot of work on the Hill, working with your local elected officials, and I'm hoping you can expand on how and why you get involved, including, involving your members and kind of organizing some of that.
Well, as I said, the program is critically important to us in Cape May County. And so we've really taken the lead in our state for the program. We have more students that are in New Jersey in Cape May County than any other part of the state. And so it's really important to us and to our members as a member organization. This is something that we see it as a benefit for our members, not just, to our county from an economic perspective, but this is a service that we provide as a member-driven value. And we did venture into this area by, member request. So, that's how we got into this landscape, and our relationships with our elected officials is really was one of our strengths. And so we've taken every opportunity to have meetings with them, to talk with them about the program, to host them in having site visits, not just locally in Cape May County, but through our partnerships with other state organizations, with our State Tourism Association, our congressional team. They during their breaks, like to visit around the state in their local districts. And so through our New Jersey Tourism Industry Association, we will coordinate those visits. And so as a member of that board, I've been able to take this issue and always make sure that we are talking about the summer work travel program and why it's important, not just to the coastal area of New Jersey, but to every community. We have ski resorts. We have other attractions in New Jersey that also utilize the summer work travel program. So it's not just about my home community in Cape May County, but through my advocacy on the state level, we've been able to really lift up the program and make sure that when we're doing our visits through Destination Capitol Hill, that, even if it's not on the U.S. travel agenda packet that they give to us, when we're doing one-on-one conversations with our representatives in their office, it's on our agenda. So we always take the opportunity to talk about it. Working with their industry representatives, whether it's the Restaurant Association or the Amusement Association or, whatever other industry specific groups that we're talking with, we use those opportunities to always bring summer work travel into the conversation. It might be their meeting, but, we bring the summer work travel conversation into that, or, their reaching out to us and say, we want to talk about summer work travel and what do you have that you've been doing with that. So we leverage those partnerships, and it's just a way to always have it be, part of the conversation. We share each other's action alerts with our membership organizations. It's not about the ownership of whose platform it's on. It's about getting the message out. So that's how we're doing it in New Jersey and trying to leverage the message.
Thank you. Yeah, education is key. Yeah, Phil.
If I can add on to what Vicki is saying, I also want to make stress a point that these actions are not necessarily self-serving. In fact, while there's a benefit, there's a mutual benefit to our elected officials. These individuals are serving on our behalf, and they know that they are not the experts. They look to us, their constituents who are in the field, to give them an insight that they just can't humanly possibly have that insight without your help. So I have never had a meeting with an elected official, especially those that are a step removed, whether that, state representatives or on the federal level, where they have been so thankful to have that time to sit down and discuss the issue and to get a better perspective, because you're filling in an unknown that makes them uncomfortable and feel less competent about those issues that are addressing you if you have not talked to them.
Yes, thank you, Phil. And I wanted to
go with it. No,
I wanted to point out too that the best visits are
that
ones
you're going
where
there to ask them something.
There's a little delay.
I wanted to point out that the best visits are ones where students can have one-on-one conversations with those elected officials. And it's a beautiful thing when you see your congressman sitting down talking from a student from another country and getting to know them and understanding why they're here. And that student then is taking that experience back. Can you imagine how they feel that they talked to a United States congressman or congresswoman? They shook their hand, they shared a hamburger with them. That's what the program's all about.
Yeah.
Thank you. And, many of our audience members, are from communities all across America, and might be thinking, how can I or we as communities or organizations, what can we do to ensure the longevity and security of the program and help support it? Do you have any advice? We've heard a lot about safety, municipal, getting ordinances passed, safety mechanisms passed. Do any of you guys want to comment on, what else, what other kind of advice we can give to other organizations and peers on, how they can get involved in supporting the program?
Clay, I would like to add that one of the most valuable aspects that we have contributed is a safe place for dialogue to raise the bar through shared, best practices, making sure that all of our employers are understanding that this is a cultural exchange program, and they are creating an opportunity for a student to come visit here by providing them with a work opportunity and not the other way around. And I just think that through the discussion and better understanding of what we're doing, what we're trying to achieve, and the ultimate goal is to make sure that the experience that student is having is far exceeds their expectation. And in return, you should see the same for your business as an employer, that when we do those two things, everybody benefits. So really, by facilitating the conversation, that's one of the greatest gifts that we can give to especially our community support groups.
And Clay, to what Phil said, all of us are also in the tourism business. So, we're $7.5 billion industry here in the Myrtle Beach area. And we want these students to come here and have the same experience that our guests have. And we want them, obviously we want our visitors to come back year after year after year. We want these students to feel like, hey, I want to go to Myrtle Beach. I had an amazing time. I got all these great experiences. I got to meet new people. There were activities that were planned for us. And then when they go back to their home countries, they're talking about our area, and hopefully we'll see them later on as some vacationers into our community. So it's important that people recognize the importance of getting involved. We have a lot of faith-based support in our community that helps us a great deal. A lot of volunteers that spend endless hours at the airport meeting these students as they arrive, possibly sometimes for the first time in the United States, greeting them, welcoming them, providing them information. And so it's important for these individuals to get involved because we need everyone together to make this program a success and to give these students the best treatment that they deserve.
Thank you. And Mayor, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add to what Stephen said. The experience that these students have while they're here is so crucial because they really become ambassadors for our community, and especially when they go back home. And Stephen touched on the faith community. And for instance, we have a local church, one that I know of, there may be more, that actually has a weekly cafe set up for these students. And it gives them a safe place to congregate, to meet each other, to communicate with each other and to share a meal, but also to give them an opportunity to worship together. And I think that component is so important because we want them to have such a positive experience while they're here so that they can take that forward. And that helps bring new students back the next season.
Our community support group has been so amazing. The Bridges program really has a robust program of getting the students together. They provide transportation to go pick up the students and bring them together. They have great, meals. They have fun activities and such. But something that I've noticed in talking with other destinations is that when you have a strong support group, the rate of like homesickness starts to decrease, that you create a bonding situation through the community support groups that offer, like for the Bridges program, they call it their American connection, and they connect them with a family that becomes kind of their surrogate while they're here. And I know as being a foreign exchange student in another country, that was vital to just helping me feel not so vulnerable in those moments when maybe emotionally you're tired or whatnot. So balancing all of that so that you have the support, that's what they want to do. I know for us, we have a very large, disproportionate amount of our population is retired. But on the good side, we have all these grandparents that are so excited to foster kids because their grandkids don't live nearby. So again, everybody benefits by bringing people together.
And I think we're hitting on a couple very good points, which is, it's about the experience for the students and the overall experience for the students while they're here living in each of our communities. And I know, Phil, your area has grown a lot over the past 10 years with a lot more students choosing to come to Door County. I think what we heard, on a couple of the other panels earlier today, students have a choice of where they want to spend their time and where they want to go on their program, and making the experience memorable, safe, is very vital. Do you want to expand on, how you've seen that go in Door County?
When I look at the numbers, really, we're talking about the last 5 years going from that 225. We always had about a small number like that, to now this past in 2019, it was in the 520s. There's a little there that I'm not sure where the differentiation comes from, but that really has made a big difference, making sure that experience is excellent. We are in the flyover zone. So, students come here always feeling like when I go to America, I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to go to California, all that kind of thing. We're like, well, here's the deal. We're not near either of those things, not by any means. And so making sure that that the experience that they have, this is their experience, and making sure that that's the fullest it can be has been really key. And it really has, in a couple of matters, the more we empower our employers to be good hosts, and then help support the Bridges program and helping them support the students while they're here. All of those pieces, again, coming together for a win-win that helps to sustain the program and grow it. And we still have room to grow. And I think that by working together that way, even with the housing issue, sometimes the issue isn't simply solved by creating dormitory. That's a tremendous, wonderful step in that regard. But we know that in our community, we're starting to look into ways that we can better match up students that can help out individuals who are wanting to live alone, and they just need to have somebody around that is coming and going. And so we work to change county zoning to allow for mother-in-law apartments, where you take an extra bedroom that has a bathroom to it, and making sure it has its own entrance, that kind of a thing. Oftentimes, either there's a kitchenette or shared kitchen facility, but having that little mother-in-law apartment from a bedroom that's no longer used has allowed some of our senior citizens to remain at home, and maybe even just the simple exchange of helping me make sure that the garbage is on the curb on Thursday for the pickup, or helping me by mowing the lawn once a week, and with the understanding that the student is working, but it's again a win-win. So looking outside of the box for what we can do to create enhanced experiences and solve the problem at the same time.
Thank you, Phil. And I do want to hit on one more key point, and I think Stephen, the Myrtle Beach Hospitality Association and Myrtle Beach kind of approach this with a unique way. It takes sometimes a lot of work to get this support in place for students. And I know in Myrtle Beach, a paid position was created for a community liaison who oversaw some of the day-to-day coordination and organization of the ISOP, the International Student Outreach Program there, while also, lending the power, I guess, of the Hospitality Association communication channels and networks to help with that. How did you get this, position created, funded, managed? Why, and maybe how did this help Myrtle Beach strengthen the summer travel program there?
Absolutely. Obviously, so many of our municipal staff from the police department to a lot of the different groups of the cities have been involved in this program, but we always also have full-time jobs, and this takes up a lot. And obviously, you're talking about 3,000 students and orientations. That was a lot of work. And then also vetting housing, trying to deal with transportation issues, going to different committees like the bicycle committee, getting information out to businesses. So the city and everyone kind of came together, and obviously, as the mayor said, we used our faith-based community to help us out a lot of this. But we also knew we needed to have somebody who could be our point person, and also even somebody who's an emergency contact. A student might get hurt at work, not know where to go and who to contact. And we even give out cards and information orientation to call our community liaisons if you have a problem or you have a question or you have a need. So again, it's one more step to make sure that these students and participants are getting the services that they need. But it was also to ensure that the community liaison could really work with all the various groups to make sure the coordination was seamless to deal with the issues, to get Social Security, banking, other cell phone companies a part of this program. The funding actually came from the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, who's a close partner of the city and municipalities. They saw the need for that. They felt that it was very important to do that. So we kind of lead that effort and have been able to have some fantastic community liaisons and that work very diligently for this program.
Thanks, Stephen. I want to leave it with, does anybody else have any, final thoughts on, why supporting this program is so vital, how you guys have supported it, and maybe why others might want to, get more involved in their own host communities.
Clay, I'd like to just a quick shout out for any community that's looking for a way to get involved. We have had a very successful Social Security sign-up day. For anybody that's looking for information on it, you can reach out to me personally at phil@doorcounty.com or ask Clay or whomever. But because we are such a great distance from our closest Social Security office is at least 75 miles away. Obviously, that's 150 miles worth of travel to get a student signed up. The offices are typically set up so that it's walk-in only. And of course, COVID has complicated that. But what we found overall was that we were able to create a really slick system. I create a sign-up sheet on Google Sheets that the employers can work in. We found through doing this each year, we would sit down after helping the kids get signed up for their cards and analyze what could we do better. And we found that instead of individually signing, helping the kids sign up, it was better if they were in smaller groups or not smaller, in a group of students, because they would help each other overcome things that they were assuming or they didn't quite know. If you ask a student, are you understanding what we're talking about? They're going to say yes if they feel like they're kind of following along without knowing that maybe they're missing a key point. The long and short of it is in 2019, when we had our last sign-up day, we were able to sign up 266 students. They were from more than 30 countries. We had helped more than 60 of our employers with that. We, when you extrapolate it, we saved unnecessary 39,900 miles of travel. We saved approximately 1,596 gallons of gas at 25 miles a gallon, and approximately 1,600 hours that would have been wasted driving down to the office and waiting in line and coming back. And all of those were conservative numbers. But the long and short, the best news of all was the Social Security office was delighted because we had 100% application acceptance, that none of them were rejected for incorrect information. All of the students had all the right documentation. We work with the employers to make sure this is what you need to bring. And in fact, for us, because it's a remote office, we spell out exactly, they need to make copies of documents, but they need to bring the originals. So we're not skipping that part to the interview, but we can schedule up to 8 students at a time per agent. Usually what I do is I'll go that high if they're all with the same employer or if they're from the same country. But it's such a big deal. The employers absolutely just couldn't be more gracious and grateful for the program. The students are usually going to Social Security and people are there because somebody has passed or there's a complaint about their account, and the students are going in there. It's not like a happy spot. And by doing this sign-up day, it's very celebratory. The students have huge smiles. In most countries, when you're dealing with the government, it's not necessarily a great experience. And here we were able to connect with them. The agents were able to connect with them and make it a memorable moment. Almost everybody leaves with a huge grin on their face and like, yeah, I applied for my Social Security card. It's like they've won the lottery. So anybody who's interested in how we do that, it really is easy as a DMO or another group that's supporting the J1s in your area. It really is. It's not a big demand. There's not a big cost to it. It's a very easy thing that makes a huge impact. I'm proud to be a part of it.
Thank you, Phil. With that, I'd like to thank all of the panelists for your time today. We do have another session coming up right after this at 3 p.m. We'll take a very quick break. There's an employer preparedness panel discussing what host employers can do to prepare for next summer. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank our panelists for their expertise and sharing all the wonderful insights. I think there's a lot we can do collectively to strengthen this program and make sure that all of the students are supported. And I know all of the panelists on today would be happy to speak with any other organizations, I'm sure, that might have questions on some of these specifics. Phil mentioned that as well. So feel free to reach out to myself or them directly with any of those questions. And we look forward to seeing everybody at the next session.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.